The 2021 football season for the Fulton Falcons came to a close tonight on the road at Greeneville as the Falcons dropped their second-round playoff game to the Greeneville Green Devils by the final score of 56-12. It's time for Fulton After Dark. This is Russell Mays here in the WKCS studios, joined by the head coach of the Fulton Falcons, Rob Black. And Coach Black, you knew it was going to be a tough assignment tonight, and it really was.
It was. I mean, we knew going in. I mean, Greeneville's 12-0 and ranked number one for a reason. And that's what they are, and good football team. We knew it was going to be a tough task going in, and knew that we were going to have to play really clean, really well to have a chance to be in this one.
And the thing that you didn't want to have happen did. You got off to a disastrous start, fumble recovery for a touchdown, and then a couple of quick touchdowns for Greeneville. And early in the second quarter, it was 28-0.
Yeah, you know, again, we talked about during the week. You know, when you talk about the keys in this game. One, you can't turn it over, and definitely can't turn it over for a touchdown for them, and then you can't give up the big plays. And, you know, both of those happened. It wasn't an effort thing. I mean, I thought our guys fought hard, but, you know, good Greeneville team, and they took advantage of the opportunity they had, and can't beat them doing those things.
But as the hallmark, really, of this 2021 Fulton team was, they found a way to fight. The Falcons get on the board just before halftime to make it 28-6. You get a stop to open up the third quarter, and the Falcons get on board again, and all of a sudden it's a 28-12 ball game, and Fulton really kind of was back in the ball game.
Yeah, and you know, this bunch of guys, you know, they did that during the season, and they did it tonight. You know, and again, I thought they had some fight in them. It would have been easy to fold up at halftime, and like I said, we scored right before halftime, come out, got a stop, got a little momentum, went down, scored again, and proud of our bunch for that, you know, and you know, we went into it with our backs against the wall, and like I said, knew it was going to be a tough night, but man, our guys fought. And
really for quite a while there, late second quarter, early third quarter, you had Greeneville a little bit uncomfortable.
Well, I think we were in it at the time, you know, and I think they knew they were in a ball game at the time, and then we let it snowball again after that. But again, just proud of our effort. Disappointed like crazy in the loss, but proud of our effort.
The Falcons finished the season with a record of 8 wins and 4 losses in the second round of the TSSAA playoffs. And now that we're at the end of the season, definitely a sad time as you get ready to say goodbye to your seniors.
It is, you know, and I told these guys, you know, during the week, and you know, told them when we were done tonight. I mean, this bunch of seniors kind of stayed the course for us, you know, and went through a couple of tough seasons and some growing pains, and some of them had to play probably when they weren't ready. But again, they just kept coming back and kept getting after it, kept doing the things we asked them to do, and then all of a sudden we find them, you know, in the second round of the playoffs. So a special bunch, man. I wish them nothing but the best. Again, there's some really good kids in this senior class, and we'll definitely miss them.
And on this final show of the season, let's go down the list and just have you make some comments about each one of the seniors. And first of all, a guy that really did a little bit of everything for the Falcons and had to come in and play quarterback some tonight, Dre Peebles.
You know, I told Dre afterwards, he's just one of those solid kids. I mean, you know, very unselfish. You've probably heard me say that before. Do anything you ask him to do, play anywhere you ask him to play. I mean, we've asked him to play in a linebacker spot. He's played corner. He's played nickel for us on defense. He's returned kicks and punts, and we've played him at every receiver position that we can line him up at. And then, like you said, we've had to put him in that quarterback and run a little wildcat with him. And so definitely miss Dre. He's one of the funnest kids I've coached just because he brings it every day and his attitude, and Dre will end up being successful in whatever he decides to do.
Definitely a very tough competitor.
Yeah, very tough, and again, very coachable.
A player that was new to the Falcons this year that made some impacts as the season went along, Hayward.
Yeah, Ja moved in here from out of state, and wasn't a football guy when he got here, but looks like one. And so we talked him into coming out, and he ended up growing and growing and growing as the season went along, and ended up making some plays for us, and ended up giving us some depth that we needed, in the secondary and at receiver. And so I'm super proud of him, guy with a really good attitude.
And for a young man like that, you really hate to see him go because you'd like to have seen what could have happened with a few more years.
Yeah, I'd like to have him for a couple more years. Think he could continue to get better and better for sure.
One of the people that really had a big year for the Falcons, really improved, had a touchdown catch tonight, Antonio Kyle.
Yeah, and Antonio's another kid that seems like he's been here for a long time. Of course, his dad played here, and Dad was one of the toughest guys we've coached around here. And Antonio's kind of the same way. I mean, we played him at a tight end position. We've played him at a H-back. We've played him at receiver, several receiver spots. Smart kid, does a lot for us, and ended up being at safety. I think he had a pass breakup or two tonight, and just saw him get better and better as the season went along. And hate to see it in for him as well.
Also, senior Jerrison Gibson, one of the toughest players on the team.
Mr. Unselfish, just does everything we ask him to do. Never asks for the ball. Doesn't care if he catches one or runs one, but if we need him to do it, he'll do it, And his toughness is something that I think wears on other people, and they kind of follow his lead. So doesn't say a whole lot, not your vocal leader, a guy that just brings it every day. We'll miss him. I told him afterwards, I think he'll be successful in anything he tries to do.
Unfortunately for the Falcons, a guy that had a lot of injuries he had to deal with this year was Usami Bates.
Well, Usami came from a whole nother country, not just another state, and really knew nothing about football when he got here. And again, I had a big catch for us tonight. Had an interception last week in the first round of the playoffs, and one of the best kids on the team. Actually go to church with him and know his family really well, and he's a special, special young man, and we'll definitely miss him for sure.
Maybe one of the toughest kickers you've probably ever coached, Daniel Perez.
Well, at one point in time, and this is not something for me to be proud of, but maybe something for him to be proud of, is at one time was our leading tackler on special teams, and there's our kicker. But, Daniel came in here, a year or so ago, and I think really had aspirations of playing defensive back, and started kicking with our kicker last year, and started seeing himself getting better and better, and he ended up being very dependable for us, and we asked him to do some things sometimes that he's never done before, and I told him tonight how proud I was just for his work ethic. I mean, he comes every day, and that's all he does is kick, but he does it all day long, and he's turned himself into a pretty good kicker.
New to the program last year and had to step in some key situations, Will Sims.
Yeah, Will, another guy with a good attitude. Will's got a good body on him, and Will was pretty dependable for us. And again, we had to put him in some situations when probably he wasn't expecting to play a whole lot, and he ends up playing, linebacker in a couple of games for us, and was key there. And then, in the Scott County game, he ended up being our tailback, and if you would have asked him Wednesday, will you be our tailback Friday night, he would have probably said no. So enjoyed watching him grow up and turn himself into a guy that made some contributions to us. And
sadly, another senior that had to deal with injuries, Damian McDowell.
Yeah, we lost Damian, at Scott County, and I'll say this about him. I mean, just off-season work ethic, getting in the weight room, pushing himself, making himself stronger, turning himself into a good football player, and ended up having his season cut short and had to have surgery. And wish him well. Wish we had him for a couple more years.
Well, and probably one of the most unique stories of this football season is the last football play he ever played in high school football. He scored a touchdown.
Yeah, he did. That was at Scott County. In fact, we didn't know till we went back and watched the film. He got hurt the play before that. Got in the huddle and just didn't notice it in the game, and then he scored and landed on it again and come out, and of course Chico was checking him out there and came to me and told me he was done for the night, and ended up being done for the year, and hated that for him.
Now taking a look at the linemen, and this was a very solid group of linemen for the Falcons, and what else can you say about Seth Vaughn?
Well, probably as dominant of a defensive lineman and a really good offensive lineman as we've had around here in a long time. And drew a double team, most every time, and sometimes triple teams, I think, and but very explosive, you know. And he missed the first part of the year with some medical stuff, and but man, what a guy! I'm glad we didn't have to deal with him as an opponent. I'm glad he was on my team. And
he'll be going to Furman University next year. And Coach, I think he had 3 sacks tonight. He played well. He did, you know. And again, as he, you know, I don't remember how many games it was he missed early on, but as you started seeing him get in shape, man, he became more and more of a force. Not just a run stopper either. I mean, like I said, he got to the quarterback a lot. Another stalwart on the offensive and defensive line for the Falcons, Bill Anderson. Yeah, Bill again, another guy that's been here for 4 years and been a starter for 3 years, and we play him over on our left tackle, and then he plays defensive end for us, but you know, big enough that when we have to make some moves up front defensively, we were able to slide him inside some as well. And again, just wish Bill success in the future, and you know, appreciate his contributions to our program. The leading sacker, I guess, in the state of Tennessee, a guy who started off at one position and then moved down to the line and became a big factor, was Keenan Vaughan. Yeah, Keenan was very unselfish this year. You know, he wore number 17, played tight end for us and defensive end, and as we had some injuries in the offensive line, and we lose one that we're getting ready to talk about, and lost a couple of others, you know, we asked Keenan to make a move, and he moved into that right guard spot for us, and you know, did a good job on the offensive line. But I think where he really made his mark was as a pass rusher, and a dang good one. You know, probably got held on half the plays or half the snaps that he participated in, because they had a hard time blocking him, and he has a nose for getting to the quarterback, and it's been neat to watch him come to the point where he's at right now from where he came from. And you know, he used to be very quiet and kind of reserved, and that's not his personality anymore. And so, man, what a force! And guys had to scheme for him every time we played. Basically, a starter for the Falcons from day one as a center. Cameron Stokes. Yeah, Cameron, I talked to him after the game tonight, talked to his dad, and what a great young man. You know, he was, I think, a captain for us every game this year, and that's just simply because of who he is and what he does. You know, he brings it every day, never complains, never says a word, and just as solid as a rock. And that's what I told his dad tonight. That's the word I could use for him. And he started as a freshman for us, and you know, I told him tonight, you know, sometimes you start a young guy as a freshman or a sophomore out of necessity, but that wasn't the case for him. You know, when he was a freshman, he was ready to play, and he was a good player then, and he turned himself into a really, really, really good player. And we'll definitely miss him in so many ways. And I'll mention his dad. I mean, what he does for our program, and you know, he comes every day, and out of the goodness of his heart, just his maroon runs, or his blood runs maroon, and he's here every day doing our equipment, handling everything, drives our trailer to the games, and just does so much. But he's also just such a great man for our kids to be around and watch. And because of him is what you see in Keenan. I mean, he's been raised the right way. Well, and for Cam, just how big is it just for him to be so consistent at the center position, which basically the guy's going to touch the ball on every snap? Yeah, he does. I mean, he long snaps for us, plays center for us, and you know, I could probably name whatever play call I wanted to name right now, and show him 4 or 5 different defensive fronts, and he'd know exactly what to do on every one of them, and probably who everybody else has, and that's what you got to have in your center. Well, and speaking of injury, as you said a little bit earlier, young man really didn't even get a chance this year, and which was a big blow, Hayden Daugherty. Well, Hayden started several games for us last year, and you know, had a shoulder injury, and in the preseason was out here giving it a go, and ended up just that shoulder just wouldn't let him do it, and he ended up having a surgery before our season even started, and so hated that for him. Hayden's a good young man, and he could have definitely helped us this year, but definitely wish him well. And finally, a young man that was new to the program last year but really had to step up his role this year, Landon Holbrook.
Well, Landon has grown as a person and as a player, and he was a backup tight end / receiver last year and a starting right tackle for us this year. So, again, unselfish. We asked him to change numbers. We asked him to make a move to the offensive line, and had a really, really good attitude about it. And I know this, and we're talking about all those offensive linemen right now, and Landon included. We wouldn't be sitting here 8-4 today if it wasn't for those guys. And we won a lot of battles up front, and I think our guys, Marmar and Davion and any of those guys that caught a ball or ran a ball this year would tell you that group up front was special, and Landon was one of those guys.
So as you look back at the 2021 season, what's going to be the main thing that you remember and take away?
Well, I'll remember the toughness and the grit of this bunch, and I will remember their ability to overcome adversity. I will remember their growth, just as a team and as a bunch of individuals, to see where they came from and where they're at right now and how much they've grown. And I just appreciate them allowing me to be a part of their coming up, and our coaches know that this is a special group, and sure hated to see it end the way it ended. I felt like early in the year and midway part, we were very inconsistent, but the run we made at the end, aside from tonight, was fun to watch and fun to be a part of, and I'll always remember this group for that.
Well, and the thing about football is you take a couple of weeks off, and then it'll be time to start getting ready for the 2022 season.
Well, you rest a little bit, and then you got to get back to work. And so hopefully these young men understand that, and I think they will. And, again, you hate to see those seniors go, but once this one ends tonight, you go back and sit and reflect a little bit, rest a little bit, and then hopefully go back to work. And that's what life's all about anyway. I mean, there's so many life lessons in this game, and you get knocked down sometimes in life, you get knocked down sometimes in football, but you got to come back and get after it, and I know this bunch will.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming down here each and every week and being part of this program. I think it was a unique thing that doesn't get done in a lot of places, and it's certainly, I know our fans appreciated the opportunity for us to be able to sit down and talk about the games and the players.
Yeah, and again, the pleasure is mine. When I get a chance to talk about my team and my school and my community, it's always my pleasure.
Well, Coach Black, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
And that wraps up the 2021 season. It was a disappointing result tonight, but a successful season as the Falcons finish 8-4 on the year. For everyone here at WKCS Radio who make these broadcasts possible, so many people to thank. We thank you for watching, all the people that have supported us through the years, and I just can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate our whole crew here at WKCS Radio and Television who give of their time each and every week to make this possible. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and we have a studio full of people that are here working because they love Fulton High School, they love Fulton football, and they love to get the message out. And from the bottom of my heart, I can't say how much I appreciate the effort of my whole crew, and there's just no way I can thank you enough. So for each and every one of you, I say thank you. For each of every one of you watching, and I say thank you for your support, and we'll see you next year when we will be back with another edition of Fulton After Dark. Until we talk to you again, for the head coach of the Fulton Falcons, Rob Black, this is Russell May saying thanks for watching. Good night, Reagan. Good night, Anderson.